The unexpected summons. Captain Marcus Chen stared at the holographic message floating above his desk aboard the UES Peacekeeper. The blue light cast strange shadows across his weathered face as he read the transmission for the third time. After 15 years of diplomatic service across the galaxy, Marcus thought he had seen every type of first contact scenario possible. This message proved him wrong. The seal belonged to the Nexari Empire, a civilization so mysterious that most humans questioned if they truly existed. Their territory stretched across 12 star systems, yet they had maintained complete isolation for over 2 centuries. No human had ever set foot on their worlds. No trade agreements existed between their peoples. The Nexari were ghosts in the cosmic wind, powerful enough to defend their borders, but distant enough to remain legend. Marcus ran his fingers through his graying hair and activated his personal comm. Admiral Torres appeared on screen within seconds, her stern expression already suggesting she knew why he was calling. "You received the transmission," Torres said without preamble. "What's your assessment, Captain?" "Honestly, Admiral, I'm not sure what to make of it. The Nexari have never initiated contact with any human vessel. Their message specifically requests me by name for immediate diplomatic consultation. That level of personal intelligence about our personnel suggests they've been watching us far longer than we realized." Torres nodded grimly. "My thoughts exactly. The question is whether this represents an opportunity or a threat. Your record with first contact situations is exceptional, Marcus. If anyone can navigate this safely, it's you." Marcus studied the message again. The translation algorithms had worked overtime to convert the complex Nexari language into something humans could understand. Even so, certain phrases remained mysteriously vague. The request spoke of urgent consultation regarding mutual survival and decisions that will reshape the cosmic order. Heavy words for what should have been a simple diplomatic meeting. "What do we know about their current political situation?" Marcus asked. "Almost nothing. Our long-range sensors detect no military buildup, no expansion activities, no external conflicts. If anything, their territories have become even more isolated in recent decades. Some of our xenobiologists theorize they might be facing internal challenges, but that's pure speculation." Marcus made his decision. "I'll take the Peacekeeper to their coordinates. If this is legitimate, we can't afford to ignore the first diplomatic overture from such a powerful civilization. If it's a trap, at least we'll learn something about their capabilities." 3 days later, the Peacekeeper dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Nexari system. Marcus had used the journey to study every piece of available intelligence about their destination. The Nexari homeworld, Nexera Prime, was described as a living crystal formation where biology and geology had merged into something unprecedented. Their cities supposedly grew from the planet itself, shaped by mental forces that human science couldn't explain. The sight that greeted them exceeded every wild theory. Nexera Prime gleamed like a jewel against the void, its surface covered in crystalline formations that pulsed with internal light. Space around the planet hummed with energy signatures that made the Peacekeeper's instruments sing with harmonics. Most incredibly, massive structures orbited the world that seemed to be part architecture and part living organism. "Incoming transmission," Lieutenant Rodriguez announced from the communication station. "It's coming from the planet's surface." The view screen filled with an image that took Marcus's breath away. The being who appeared was undeniably alien yet hauntingly beautiful. Her skin held a translucent quality that seemed to contain starlight, and her eyes were deep pools of shifting color that suggested intelligence beyond human comprehension. When she spoke, her voice carried harmonics that resonated in Marcus's chest. "Captain Marcus Chen of the United Earth Systems, I am Queen Zephyra of the Nexari Empire. You honor us with your presence. Permission is granted for immediate planetary transport. Come alone, as is our custom for such meetings." Marcus felt the weight of history settling on his shoulders. No human had ever been invited to the Nexari homeworld. The political implications were staggering, but something in the Queen's manner suggested this went far beyond normal diplomacy. The transport beam that brought him to the planet's surface was unlike anything in human technology. Instead of the harsh mechanical translation he was used to, this felt organic, as if the planet itself was welcoming him. He materialized in a vast chamber that seemed carved from a single massive crystal. Light flowed through the walls like water, creating patterns that shifted. Captain Chen, welcome to the heart of Nexera. You stand in chambers that have welcomed no outsider for 3 centuries. The honor is considerable. Marcus offered the formal bow he had practiced during his journey. Your Majesty, I am deeply grateful for this unprecedented invitation. The United Earth Systems values the opportunity to establish communication with your empire. Queen Zephyra's expression shifted slightly, and Marcus caught a glimpse of something unexpected. Sadness. Desperation. Before he could analyze it further, she gestured for him to follow her deeper into the Crystal Palace. Tell me, Captain, what do you know of evolutionary stagnation? The question caught Marcus off guard. This wasn't the opening he had expected for diplomatic negotiations. I understand it as a biological concept where species stop adapting to changing environments. Eventually, it leads to extinction. Indeed. And what would you say about a civilization that achieved perfect stability, eliminated all conflict, solved every technological challenge, and created paradise for its people? Marcus sensed dangerous currents beneath the conversation. I would say that sounds like the ultimate achievement of any society. Queen Zephyra stopped walking and turned to face him directly. When their eyes met, Marcus felt something impossible happen. Her thoughts touched his mind, not invasively, but like a gentle current connecting 2 pools of water. In that instant, he saw the truth that the Queen had been hiding. The Nexeri Empire was dying. For all their technological mastery and perfect society, they had lost something essential. Innovation had ceased. Art had become repetitive. Their people lived for millennia, but had stopped truly living centuries ago. The crystalline perfection around them was beautiful, but it was also a tomb for a civilization that had solved all its problems and had nothing left to strive for. You see the truth now, Queen Zephyra said softly. My people achieved everything they thought they wanted, and in doing so, we lost the very thing that made us alive. We stopped growing, stopped changing, stopped reaching for something greater than ourselves. Marcus struggled to process the revelation. But your technology, your achievements, your perfect society are monuments to what we once were, not what we are becoming. We have watched the younger races, Captain Chen. We have observed humanity with particular interest for the past century. Your species fascinates us because you do what we no longer can. What is that? You dream of impossible things and then make them real. You face extinction regularly and respond by becoming stronger. You argue, fight, struggle, and in doing so, you grow. What we see as chaos, you transform into progress. The Queen led him to a balcony that overlooked the crystal city below. The view was breathtaking, but Marcus now understood what she meant. Everything was perfect, eternal, and completely static. There was no construction, no change, no sense of a civilization moving toward something greater. This is why you invited me here, Marcus said, beginning to understand. Not for trade agreements or territorial discussions. Queen Zephyra nodded. My advisors have been monitoring human diplomatic records for decades. Your particular talent for building bridges between different species, for finding common ground where others see only differences, marked you as exceptional. What I am about to propose will shock both our civilizations. Marcus felt his pulse quicken. What kind of proposal? The Queen stepped closer, and Marcus could see the patterns of light moving beneath her crystalline skin. Her eyes held depths that spoke of decisions that would echo across the galaxy. I propose something that has never been attempted between our species, a joining not just of governments or territories, but of civilizations themselves. The Nexeri possess knowledge and power beyond human imagination. Humanity possesses the one thing we have lost, the ability to grow, to change, to dream of better tomorrows. Marcus felt the ground shift beneath his feet, though the crystal balcony remained solid. You're talking about cultural integration on a scale that's never been attempted. I am talking about survival, Captain. My people will fade into extinction within a few centuries if nothing changes. Your people will eventually face challenges that require wisdom and power they don't yet possess. Together, we could become something neither civilization could achieve alone. The implications crashed over Marcus like a tsunami. This wasn't a diplomatic meeting at all. It was a proposal that would redefine the relationship between two entire species. The political ramifications alone would shake both governments to their foundations. Your Majesty, what you're suggesting would require approval from leaders far above my authority level. The social and political challenges would be enormous. Queen Zephyra's expression intensified, and Marcus felt that telepathic connection deepen. Through it, he sensed not just her words but her emotions, hope mixed with desperation, wisdom tempered by urgency. Which is why, Captain Chen, I am not making this proposal to your government. I am making it to you personally. Marcus felt his world tilt on its axis. I don't understand. The Queen moved closer until he could feel the energy radiating from her crystalline form. When she spoke, her voice carried the weight of civilizations hanging in the balance. The proposal I am offering is not just political, Captain. It is personal. I am asking you to become the bridge between our peoples in the most literal sense possible. I am asking you to stand with me as partner, as equal, as the symbol of what our civilizations could become together. Marcus stared at her, unable to process what he was hearing. The most powerful ruler in known space was offering him not just an alliance between governments, but something far more profound and dangerous. You're asking me to. I am asking you to help me save both our peoples by becoming something new together. The choice is yours, Marcus Chen, but know that the future of two civilizations may hang on your answer. The bold declaration. Marcus stood frozen on the crystal balcony, the weight of Queen Zephyra's proposal settling around him like gravity from a collapsing star. Below them, the perfect city of Nexera Prime pulsed with eternal light, beautiful and lifeless as a museum exhibit. The irony wasn't lost on him that he was being asked to bring chaos to paradise. Your Majesty, he said carefully, I need to understand exactly what you're proposing. The political implications alone could destabilize both our civilizations. Queen Zephyra's expression shifted, revealing layers of complexity Marcus hadn't seen before. Through their telepathic connection, he felt her ancient loneliness, her desperate hope, and something else that made his breath catch. Genuine affection for humanity that went far beyond political calculation. Come, she said, leading him back into the palace. Let me show you what your people have given us without even knowing it. They walked through corridors that defied physics, walls that curved through dimensions Marcus couldn't perceive. The Queen led him to a chamber filled with crystalline formations that hummed with stored energy. As they entered, the crystals began to glow, projecting holographic images into the air around them. Marcus watched in amazement as scenes from human history played out in three-dimensional light. He saw the first moon landing, the colonization of Mars, the desperate war against the Centauri pirates, the development of faster-than-light travel. But these weren't just recordings, they were emotional resonance maps, showing not just what humans had done, but how they had felt while doing it. We have been studying your species for a century, Queen Zephyra explained. Not just your technology or your politics, but your spirit. This is what we found. The holographic displays shifted to show human responses to crisis. Marcus saw colonists on dying worlds working together to build atmospheric processors, scientists on research stations sacrificing themselves to prevent plague outbreaks, diplomats like himself forging peace agreements against impossible odds. In each scene, the emotional resonance blazed with determination, creativity, and hope. Your people face extinction regularly, the Queen continued. Wars, natural disasters, resource depletion, hostile alien encounters. By all logical calculations, humanity should have destroyed itself centuries ago. Instead, each crisis makes you stronger, more unified, more capable. Marcus watched a recording of the Battle of Kepler Station, where outnumbered human defenders had held off an entire Zephyrian fleet through pure tactical brilliance and stubborn refusal to surrender. The emotional resonance showed not just courage, but the kind of desperate innovation that came from having no choice but to succeed. "We eliminated crisis from our society 12 centuries ago," Queen Zephyra said, and her voice carried a weight of regret that surprised Marcus. "We solved hunger, disease, conflict, even natural disasters. We thought we were creating paradise." "You did create paradise," Marcus replied, gesturing to the perfect city visible through the crystal walls. "No, Captain. We created a beautiful cage." The Queen moved to a control panel made of living crystal, her touch causing new images to appear. These showed Nexeri society at the height of its power. Vast fleets exploring unknown galaxies, incredible works of art that redefined beauty itself, scientific discoveries that unlocked the secrets of reality. "This was us 3,000 years ago," she said. "We were explorers, creators, dreamers. We reached across the galaxy and brought wonder to 1,000,000 worlds." The images shifted to show modern Nexeri society. The same beings moved through the same perfect cities, performing the same flawless routines they had followed for centuries. Nothing changed. Nothing grew. Nothing reached towards something greater. "And this is us now," Queen Zephyra said quietly. "Perfect, peaceful, and slowly dying from the inside out." Marcus felt the full impact of her revelation. The most advanced civilization in known space was committing slow suicide through perfection. They had eliminated every challenge that made growth possible. "How does this relate to your proposal about us?" he asked. Queen Zephyra turned to face him, her crystalline features shifting with emotion. "Because you, Marcus Chen, represent everything we have lost. Your record shows a pattern of taking impossible situations and finding solutions no one else could see. You don't just negotiate peace, you create understanding where none existed before." She gestured, and the crystal chamber around them began to change, walls becoming transparent to show the vast cosmos beyond. Marcus could see both their fleets, the human ships practical and efficient, the Nexeri vessels elegant as works of art. "My proposal is this," Queen Zephyra said, her voice carrying the authority of someone who had ruled for millennia, but also the uncertainty of someone taking the greatest risk of their life. "A formal joining of our civilizations with you and me as the symbolic bridge between them. Not just an alliance, but an actual merger of our peoples." Marcus felt his diplomatic training warring with the sheer audacity of what she was suggesting. The logistics alone would be impossible. Our species are biologically different. Our social structures are incompatible. Our technologies work on completely different principles. "All true," she agreed, "which is why this has never been attempted. But consider the alternative, Marcus. My people will fade into extinction within centuries. Your people will eventually face challenges that require power and knowledge beyond current human capability. Separately, we both face inevitable failure. Together, we could become something unprecedented." The Queen moved closer, and Marcus could see the patterns of light beneath her skin shifting with emotion. "I have lived for over 2,000 years, Marcus. I have ruled an empire that spans 12 star systems. I have commanded power that could reshape planets. And in all that time, I have never felt what your species calls inspiration until I began studying humanity." Marcus tried to process the implications. "You're talking about more than just political alliance. You're suggesting actual cultural integration on a genetic level." "I am suggesting evolution, Captain. Not the slow biological change that takes millennia, but conscious evolution. The deliberate choice to become something better than either species could achieve alone." Through their telepathic connection, Marcus felt the depth of her conviction. This wasn't the whim of an immortal ruler seeking entertainment. This was the desperate gamble of a leader who saw her people dying and was willing to risk everything to save them. "What would this look like practically?" he asked. Queen Zephyra smiled, the first truly happy expression he'd seen from her. Human creativity guided by Nexari wisdom. Nexari power directed by human determination. Your people would gain access to technologies that could solve every material problem you face. My people would rediscover the ability to grow, to change, to dream of better tomorrows. She gestured again, and the chamber filled with new projections showing possible futures. Marcus saw human colonies on impossible worlds, made viable by Nexari terraforming technology. He saw Nexari cities coming alive with human energy and innovation, perfect crystalline beauty given purpose and direction. He saw hybrid children playing in gardens that existed in multiple dimensions, learning to think in ways neither parent species could achieve alone. It would mean the end of both civilizations as they currently exist, he said. Yes, she agreed without hesitation, and the beginning of something neither could become alone. Marcus walked to the chamber's center, surrounded by visions of potential futures. The diplomat in him cataloged every problem such a merger would create: political resistance, cultural conflicts, the practical challenges of integrating species with different lifespans and biological needs. The human in him marveled at the possibilities. "Why me?" he asked finally. "You could have approached our government directly, worked through official channels." Queen Zephyra's expression became intensely personal. "Because governments think in terms of territory and resources. What I'm proposing requires individuals willing to become bridges between worlds. Your record shows a unique ability to understand different species not just intellectually, but emotionally." She moved until she stood directly in front of him, her ancient eyes holding depths he was still learning to navigate. "And because, Marcus Chen, in all my centuries of existence, you are the first being I have encountered who makes me believe in possibilities I thought were lost forever." The chamber fell silent except for the harmonic resonance of the crystals around them. Marcus felt the weight of two civilizations balanced on his decision. Through their connection, he sensed Queen Zephyra's vulnerability beneath her imperial authority, the loneliness of someone who had carried the fate of her people alone for centuries. "If I agreed to this," he said slowly, "what would happen to our individual identities? Would we become something neither human nor Nexari?" "We would become the first of something new," she replied. "The proof that evolution doesn't require the destruction of what came before, but the conscious choice to become more than the sum of our parts." Marcus closed his eyes, feeling the pull of the impossible. Everything in his training said this was madness. The political repercussions would be catastrophic. Both species would resist such fundamental change. The practical challenges were overwhelming. But through Queen Zephyra's telepathic touch, he felt something else. The dying light of a civilization that had achieved everything and lost its soul in the process. He saw the desperate hope that maybe, somehow, two species could save each other by choosing to become one. When he opened his eyes, Queen Zephyra was watching him with an expression that mixed ancient authority with very human hope. "I can't make this decision alone," he said finally. "It affects too many people, changes too much." But, she asked softly. Marcus felt a smile tug at his lips despite the enormity of what they were discussing. "But I can make a choice about where I stand personally. And I choose to stand with someone brave enough to risk everything to save her people." The Queen's face transformed with joy so pure it made the crystals around them sing with harmonic resonance. "Then you will help me." "I will help you explore what's possible," Marcus corrected. "The ultimate decision will require both our peoples to choose their own evolution. But yes, Zephyra, I'll stand with you as we try to build a bridge between stars." As their hands touched, human flesh meeting crystalline skin, the chamber erupted in light that could be seen from orbit. Two species, two civilizations, two souls choosing to reach across the impossible distance between different forms of life and find common ground in the dream of becoming something greater together. The future had never been more uncertain. The possibilities had never been more limitless.